Hello everyone, welcome back to Military Plus. The Army's Humvees were a war-tested tactical vehicle for decades, yet many of them were decimated in Iraq and Afghanistan by improvised explosive devices, i.e. that's why the Army worked intensely to better protect its Humvees with things like up-armoring and extra bolt-on protections. These innovative additions, though helpful, simply could not save the flat-bottomed, low-riding Humvees from roadside bombs. The vulnerability of the low-riding Humvee and the number of casualties associated with its performance in Iraq and Afghanistan gave rise to the Defense Department's push to accelerate life-saving alternatives. As this tragic trend was unfolding, the Defense Department fast-tracked a number of efforts to engineer, build, and deliver troop transport and tactical vehicles able to withstand or counter the IED threat. This led to the creation of the mine-resistant ambush-protected MRAP vehicles, the MRAP-All Terrain Vehicle, M-ATV, and the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle, JLTV, built by Oshkosh Defense. Now, thousands of JLTVs operate in as many as 7 U.S. allied nations. The U.S. Army and U.S. Marine Corps rely on them too. The JLTV was outfitted with new suspension, raised higher off the ground, and given a variety of new technologies. These upgrades were intended to change the combat paradigm for light tactical vehicles. Compared to earlier light tactical vehicle models, like the Humvee, the JLTV an advanced weapon. It has a 250 to 360 horsepower engine and a 570 amp alternator capable of generating up to 10 kilowatts of exportable power. Weapons developers claim the JLTV is designed with onboard power to support the Army's network and be able to take advantage of the latest generation of diesel engine technology to maximize fuel economy. This is of great relevance given the Army's current emphasis on networking. The JLTV will need more computing, electronic sensors, and fire control technology to support a new generation of weapons intended for the modern battlefield. Exportable electrical power is increasingly critical for tactical combat vehicles. It supports command and control technologies on a vehicle and can enable power-reliant weapons systems such as lasers or electronic warfare applications. The JLTV is built with a system called TK4i independent suspension designed to increase off-road mobility in rigorous terrain, a scenario quite likely should there be a major war. The JLTV is also configured with what is called variable ride height suspension, described as the ability to raise the suspension in high-threat areas and lower the suspension so that the vehicles can be transported by maritime preposition force ships. The JLTV is also reported to be air, sea, and land transportable, able to transport on amphibious assault ships, fixed-wing aircraft such as the C-130, C-17, and C-5, as well as CH-47 and CH-53 helicopters. The JLTV, which has been armed with weapons such as a grenade launcher or 50 cal machine gun, is now being armed with heavier weapons, including anti-tank missiles, counter-drone weapons, and mounted guns. Also, it has a central tire inflation system, which is an on-the-fly system that can regulate tire pressure. The inflation system can adjust tire pressure from high pressures for high-speed conditions on flat roads to lower pressures in soft soil, such as sand or mud. Many of these attributes are proving increasingly critical as the U.S. Army and U.S. Marine Corps look to undertake additional types of missions on the battlefield. Oshkosh Defense, the American defense firm behind the JLTV, wants to pitch an upgunned version of its Humvee replacement to European customers. The upgunned JLTV features a modified roof that can accommodate a John Cockerell protected weapons station, along with an M242 25mm Bushmaster chain gun. The only thing that we really had to change on the truck was the roof, and since our capsules are a modular design, we just replaced the roof panel with the new roof panel and then mounted that turret up there, said George Mansfield, Vice President and General Manager of Joint Programs at Oshkosh Defense. And again, that was a mock-up, but we're building up a real version of it right now. The turret, which is made of welded aluminum and is relatively lightweight, features a unique hatch configuration that can be partially opened for observation, doubling as an escape hatch. The other thing is this turret is modular too, Mansfield added. You can up-armor it with just putting bolt-on armor so that you get a little bit more protection up there. The gun system itself is more of a standard system. It's the interface between the truck and the systems that's important. We're sort of agnostic as far as what system goes up on top. We just developed the mounting kit and the harnesses and such to be able to operate it up on top of the truck. The off-road vehicle, touted by Oshkosh as a nimble upgrade over the legacy Humvee, has been widely adopted in the U.S. Marine Corps and U.S. Army. However, an upgunned JLTV would be particularly appealing to European allies. Europe is very interested over there right now, I think, with things going on. They seem to be very interested in being able to buy a JLTV at the price point that Oshkosh can give them that and then putting some pretty good lethal equipment on top of it, Mansfield explained. It becomes more than just a tactical wheeled vehicle, right? It becomes a lethal asset that they can use or employ on the battlefield. You can get mine-resistant ambush protected level protection. You've got the mobility. It'll keep up with combat formations. And now you've put some lethality on top of it, right? It's a very good vehicle for what they're interested in right now. In an effort to optimize itself for a fight in the Indo-Pacific against China, the Marine Corps is instituting the Force Design 2030 plan. As a part of the plan, the Corps has divested all of its tanks and much of its tube artillery and mortars. Perhaps one of the most pertinent lessons from the conflict in Ukraine is the utility of a heavily armed and highly mobile off-road vehicle. A JLTV with a large caliber turret may be just the solution.
The main focus of today's training was off-road operations. It makes the Marines more familiar with the vehicles.